TEMP said that the last episode was the end of the Warrior Shrine for this season, for that season, and so we ended it. It was over, and we weren't going to do another one until Mortal Kombat 11 got announced. And I'm pretty sure you, like, challenging the fates that hard is why Mortal Kombat 11 did not happen.
Yeah, that's usually how it works out. Can't really start a new season without MK11, so now we're kind of stuck doing like a Grey's Anatomy live musical special episode. I don't know what the fuck's going on right now, but this was unexpected, I guess.
To say the least. I mean, yeah, everyone was very surprised when that Sony conference came and went, and there was no Mortal Kombat anywhere at E3. And now, yeah, I guess we're just in an off season. It feels weird. It's like it doesn't belong.
It is weird. It doesn't. I mean, God, it's hard to say new things. I feel like I've said everything in the Discord, but there was no safer bet than MK11 being at E3. That was like the safest of safe bets, and if that's not true, then I have no idea what to believe anymore. I don't even know what could possibly be the case now.
It's funny because the 2 or 3 weeks before E3, I was the guy being a Jongo in the Discord, doing the normal devil's advocate thing I tend to do, where it's like, eventually, keep in mind, like, eventually the NRS's plans will change, and there won't be a Mortal Kombat when there usually is one at E3, and yada yada yada. Obviously, I was like, it's not going to be this year. This isn't the year for that. That makes no sense. But it was the year. And as those days were like creeping up towards that PlayStation conference, because that was the finish line, at least in my brain. Like, if it wasn't revealed anywhere by then that was it. It's over. We're done. No Mortal Kombat there. And as it was creeping up to Sony's conference, it's like, it's really weird there's been no leaks. It's really weird there's been nothing anybody has said anywhere about anything, like, even remotely. This doesn't seem right, and it's because there was nothing to leak, turns out. The best way for NRS, the only way apparently NRS has been able to get around leaks, is to not have a thing to leak. Well done, Ed. Well played.
Yeah, well, I mean, Shadowloo kind of leaked something in the Nethercast. Apparently, his words were, he talked to some people he knew at WB, and they said their verbiage was MK11 was in development, and that's all he knew. So that's something, I guess. That's what I expected, yeah.
No, well, I had heard similar things from that bullshit I had going on, like, January into February of this year. And it's still... I'm 100% confident, like, yeah, there is a Mortal Kombat in development. That's definitely true. But, obviously, that doesn't mean that it was going to happen at E3 or anything like that. It just means that that NRS are doing something Mortal Kombat related right now. And they were starting up production on it, like, sometime early last year, middle last year, something like that was kicking up. But yeah, obviously, that didn't help anybody at E3. And, I feel bad for, like, the guys that went to E3. Like, Cyborg said he had a good time, and that's good. But everybody was, like, really expecting it and looking forward to it. And, like, Brusque and I think Ishii went and all that stuff like that, and I feel bad for those guys. But I expected it, too. It was really weird.
Expectations were super high, and somehow... after the closure of MKX, NetherRealm fucking managed to 50-50 me one more time. I guess high on my expectations, they fucking went low, and I got bodied. So, I mean, it's fine. Like, it's America. They can do what they want. I'm not too bent over it just because Soul Calibur is so close on the horizon. But, God, it was just... I'm trying not to repeat myself when I said in the Nethercast, but it was just every day... June 1st, I'm looking at my phone to see if the game's being revealed. June 2nd, I'm looking at my phone at work, seeing if the game's going to be revealed. June 5th, checking my phone to see if it's been revealed yet. Finally we get to Monday with a Sony conference. I'm just fucking tired. I'm just so tired of checking my phone. And then when I'm literally on my lunch break, watching the Sony conference live, and when they started doing the closing panel stuff, I'm like, so that's it, we're done. Like, Mitsurugi, Soul Calibur 6, all right, let's go. So
it's all your fault, man.
every time, yeah. We should not have done a season finale.
Months ago, you're like, dude, do you realize in like 4 weeks we're going to be talking about Mortal Kombat 11? And it just like crept on and on and on and on. I'm blaming TEMP for all of it.
I mean, it's like betting on the sunset. Who would have thought, you know? I mean, how many cycles have we been through now? I mean,
not that many. It's 2 Mortal Kombat games.
Yeah, but that's like 10 years almost.
And there was a couple of injustices in there. One can't forget.
Yeah, that's part of the cycle. But still,
like, you know, like I said, eventually they were going to change their pattern. Plans were going to change, and eventually turned out to be this year. But no, I'm not one of the you know, more successful YouTubers that can like make endless videos about what went wrong at E3. Mortal Kombat 11 canceled. You know, what does it mean? What could have happened? What changed? Like, I can't. Like, come on, man. Like, I'm not a good enough YouTuber to do that. I can't pull those clicks. Other people are pulling those clicks.
Yeah,
a lot.
It's the same guy. We don't need to mention him, but it's the same dude.
No, you know who he is. Everyone knows who he is. But that's kind of the thing. There is nothing to talk about as far as it goes. What, you know, everyone knows is what there is to know. So we're all just kind of, you know, stuck here in the off season. Luckily for you and I, the Warriors Rank can talk about almost whatever the fuck we want to talk about, and there's no shortage of fighting games out there. There's more fighting games coming than, you know, anyone knows what to do with. You were talking about your hype for DOA.
Oh yes,
I'm very happy for you.
Well, I'm glad that makes one of you then, because everyone else is blowing me up. I don't know. Like, I do want to talk about that game a lot later because I have a lot to say about it. But for me, like, I feel like they're tempting fate by not revealing it at Evo, because the longer they don't reveal it, the more vulnerable they are to leaks. We need to remind ourselves that the entire Injustice 2 roster got blown up by leaks. I mean, it was a mobile leak, so maybe that's cheating, but I still feel like it's a dangerous game to wait this long to reveal anything. At least, I don't know. It's hard. It's really tough. I mean, everything Street Fighter did leaked. You know, their whole Season 3, most of Season 2, all of that stuff leaked. So, I don't know. I mean, if they think they can do it, I mean, the Ninja Turtles didn't leak, and that was its own miracle. Hellboy didn't leak. But they're playing a super dangerous game by doing this. This is all kind of crazy to me.
Well, I mean, you think the odds for leaks go up the longer they wait? Like,
yeah.
What makes the likelihood more if they wait, as opposed to like them doing it? Like, had they done it at E3, like, why would the odds have been higher for leaks if they wait?
It depends on what leaked. Like, if the leak is that, you know, let's say it's not like a roster leak. Let's say it's like, the main character is Fujin. Well, if we had seen the reveal trailer like a month ago, and it's just Fujin all main charactering, well, then that's okay. That leak doesn't. I mean, it's not even a leak at that point. That's just confirmed information. Nothing leaked.
Yeah, that's not a leak.
Yeah, so I would say it depends. I mean, if the roster leaks, then it doesn't matter when they reveal the game. You know, the roster could leak in May, and that's still a blow up because you can't get all the characters out there in time. God, when is this game even coming out? That's probably the weirdest part of all.
Yeah, it makes you wonder, like, is it Mortal Kombat 11 they're working on? Yeah, they have Mortal Kombat 11 they're working on some burner somewhere, but, you know, they're also big enough now to where they could experiment if they wanted to. They could make a, you know, not a fighting game. Listen, stranger things have happened. I saw an E3 come and go without Mortal Kombat. Like, it's, whatever. I am really bummed, man. I was... The biggest thing I was hyped for with Mortal Kombat 11 was that finally a fucking Mortal Kombat game is going to launch with great netcode. I said it 1 billion times, and it's not happening.
That was
like, come on, man.
I've been watching the Discord talk about a hypothetical game for so many months now, and I'm like, finally, the curse is lifted. And now we're all still talking about a hypothetical game, and also Doom. Like, that's where we're at now. That's the situation. With the Resident Evil remake sprinkled in there as well. So I'm just glad I have other things to look forward to. I don't know what your anti-drug is, but mine is going to be Soul Calibur for sure, plus DOA. And Resident Evil. I think Resident Evil's coming out in January, so there's still a lot to look forward to. And some of that, and January's not even that far off. Like, that's like 6 months away. So
yeah, no, it's kind of real quick. I've got lots of stuff I'm looking forward to. Fucking Red Dead Redemption comes out this year. As far as fighting games go, though, yeah, I guess the next one coming up that I'd be somewhat interested in is Soul Calibur. I hope it's good, and I've heard good impressions from people that have played it. I've listened to and read lots of impression videos and whatever. But beyond that, I don't know. There's not really much in the fighting game realm that I'm that super hyped about. Like, man, I hear that some people are happy about some Smash.
Yeah, Smash did well at EVO. Smash did a stellar job at revealing their game.
It sounded like Smash was doing well on the Nethercast earlier. Cyborg was all over that stuff. I'm happy if Smash players are happy. That's what's so weird though. Like if they heard that news at E3, everybody is in Smash, and if they heard that and were happy about it, that's great. But if I heard that Mortal Kombat was going to happen and they were going to do everybody in Mortal Kombat again, I would not be hype. I would be the opposite of hype. That would be a fucking nightmare. So
yeah, the MK11 equivalent of what they did is it shows all these classic characters, and then at the end it shows everyone is Fujin, and that's the only equivalent of that. Other than that, there's no way to top what Smash did. At least in terms of an equivalent, that's insane. God, it's hard to top that.
I mean, I never want an Armageddon type game again. There's definitely a lot of people that feel very differently than I do about that. But
I'm not one of them. I agree with you. I would want a slightly bigger roster, but I don't want an Armageddon situation again.
That just sounds like... But, Smash fans seem to be happy with the kitchen sink. So
not all of them. There's this Waluigi craze, which I don't understand at all. He's a fucking Mario Tennis character. I don't know what the big deal is.
Is he not in the game?
No, there's no Waluigi.
Could there be?
I don't care. I just don't care. I have no interest in that character. I don't even know if that character's even canon. I mean, there's no real Mario canon, let's be real, but I don't even think that character's official to anything other than Wario.
Wario's cool. Is Wario in Smash?
Yeah, Wario's in Smash. He has a motorbike.
I like fucking Wario. And those rumors are still out there about Simon. Are they still happening about Simon? Simon Belmont?
The rumors look pretty likely, but nothing confirmed yet, no.
I mean, like I've said before, either way, I mean, it's not going to make a difference whether or not I'm playing the game, because I'm not going to be playing the game. But it would be cool to see. It'd be cool if he got a stage. That would be sick. Castlevania stage. With some sick-ass Castlevania music.
That would be tight. The castle. The clock tower, you just keep going up. That'd be sick.
That'd be really fucking sick. It'd be super sick if they modeled it after the Symphony of the Night Castle, too. You got that opening, whatever that song is that plays, you know the one. I'm not gonna make the song noises. You know what? Fuck that. Just make another Castlevania game. Come on. That's all that I thought while watching all the E3 shit and seeing the Mega Man 11 stuff. It's fucking just come on, man. I know Konami hates video games, but suck it up a little bit to make a Castlevania game. Not even for like that, like not even like a full AAA title like what Mega Man 11 is doing, because it's releasing for like $40 I heard, or something like that probably. Do it like that. Do something smaller. It's fine. But that is asking a lot of Konami.
Yeah, that's. I mean, even seeing Snake and Brawl was kind of a miracle. I didn't even expect to see that ever again.
Man, Mega Man 11 does look good though. I am excited to play that game.
I only played. I played Mega Man 2, 3, and then I really only played X seriously after that.
I definitely prefer X, like by far. It's not even close. Mega Man X is the best Mega Man. Mega Man 0 is really tight. I love Mega Man 0 too. But I really like. I was watching Maximilian talk about his impressions after playing Mega Man 11, and he was talking about like them doing the like the boss upgrades you get after beating the bosses. Those being tied to one of the analog sticks, so you can like switch between them really fast by flicking the stick in a different direction.
Interesting.
Which he was talking about, like that combined with the time slowdown mechanic and shit like that. Like you could do some really sick, crazy shit in the game. You know, if you, for the people that want to get really, 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 really good, that sounds kind of hype. Like go into like, you know, slow motion mode, switch to this boss move and do this super whatever thing, and then switch to this other thing. Like it just, I can see weird Mega Man shit happening, and it sounds cool.
Yeah, I mean, I heard they assigned Rush to his own button, which I thought was
I heard that too. Yeah.
The original Mega Man games were all about, like, at least once you got to, like, Mega Man 3 and 4 and stuff like that, they progressively got more trial and error. 9 was just crazy, like, and I just kind of, it became more about platforming and trial and error, which I guess was always the case. Mega Man X was never like that. Mega Man X was all about, you know, using your upgrades to kill as many enemies as efficiently as possible while trying to speed through the stage. That's what Mega Man X was always about to me. And also, like, there were secrets, but they weren't tied to completing the stage. They were tied to finding the upgrades. So Mega Man X was all about exploration and just weapon utilization, aka gameplay, while Mega Man was always about, you know, it was almost like it's that mousetrap game, basically. It's just trial and error platforming with crazy shenanigans, and I've always preferred the former. Always. I've always preferred, you know, gameplay utilization with exploration. That was always more interesting to me.
Exploration Mega Man X is... I know what you mean. It sounds weird, though, because, like, it's not like we were talking about, like a Symphony of the Night type exploration. Yeah. It's like fucking flying through the stage exploration. It's like kinetic exploration. Then, you know, because you're talking wall jumps and dash jumps. Air dashing is sick. I wonder if that's going to be in the Mega Man game. I don't know. I heard there's charge shots and there's the ground slides. Those are both in there.
Yeah, those are classic Mega Man, though. I can see that.
Yeah, they are. I don't know. It sounds fun. It looks fun, and I'm glad it's not just another one of the like pixel art, not remakes, but sequels,
the
like
retro
Mega Man 9 and 10 were. Not that there's anything wrong with those, but I like seeing new things going on with Mega Man because that's kind of what keeps things alive usually. For any of the Mega Man games, I don't know, how hype would you be if there was another Mega Man X game that was like Mega Man 9 and 10, like it's reusing a lot of the assets from the old games and kind of making a new scenario with it and stuff like that. How would you feel about that?
Believe it or not, that's not necessarily what I want. I feel like when you say the old games, are we talking about Mega Man X1 or Mega Man X4?
I mean, would either of those get you hype?
Not
either those styles?
I think the well is dry for the 4 style. I would say you could make a good retro style Mega Man X3 game, or you can make a good Mega Man X game that was in the style of retro Mega Man X3. I don't think that's what the series needs, though. I feel like those games are good. They're in a good place. I don't feel like we need to expand on that gameplay set. I feel like that well is probably dry as well. But I mean, I'm very much alone in the fact that I don't really care for Mega Man X4. To me, that was very much the beginning of the end, and that's when a lot of the problems started to show up. I would really like them to do something new, like make it 3D. You know, put the capsules in there, put the the energy tanks in there, make the stages kind of put little, I guess what's the word I'm thinking of, little nooks in the stages that you can kind of discover. Like that's cool, but really up the gameplay. I would redesign the X Buster. I'd make it a new experience. I don't really want to see a retro Mega Man X. I don't. And the story's fucked as it is. I think really Mega Man, I mean, it was already going down a bad path because of Mega Man 6. No one really knew what was going on by that point. But like 8 sealed the deal. And I don't even think 8 was that bad. I mean, it was deeply flawed, but I still had fun with Mega Man X8. God, it was very clear by Mega Man X5. No, let me take that back. It was very clear by Mega Man X6 they did not know what to do with Sigma anymore. They just had no idea what to do with this character, which is dumb. And I think I know I'm ranty, but to me, the most underrated Mega Man X...
Dude, we got no Mortal Kombat to talk about. This is fine.
For me, my I don't know, it's my third favorite Mega Man X, the most underrated Mega Man X is Mega Man X5. And Maximilian and friends were just talking shit about that game. I mean, they don't even remember it, but they remember enough to talk shit, apparently. I love you, Max, but seriously, Mega Man X5 is bomb as hell.
I don't know if I remember Mega Man X5. Which one was that one?
It was the one
that wasn't 3D, was it?
It wasn't 3D, no. It was in the style of Mega Man X4, and that's when they had the Falcon armor. So you can basically just fucking fly now. And that was also the game that tied Wily into the lore. It was always hinted that Wily invented Zero, but
oh yeah, I remember that shit. Yeah.
Basically, Sigma says, "I found Wily," and he's pissed, and that's how the game ends. And they never follow up with it. So they introduce Isaac, who looks like Wily, but no one knows where the fuck he came from. I don't know, dude. Like that 6 is really where everything fell apart, and that's when it just turned into bad anime.
Well, so what happened with? What did they do for 7?
For 7, they introduced the guy who's not Bass.
They did Axel. I remember him.
Axel, there you go. Yeah.
But I mean, like, they didn't go anywhere else. Like, where else would the story go if they didn't want to continue that Wily thread? I remember the Wily thread now that you say it. I remember the fucking shitty anime cutscene.
Yeah, from 4, Zero has the nightmare, and he sees Sigma torn apart, and he sees a silhouette of Wily. So, yeah, it's hard to say. Pretty much Mega Man X6 retconned all the Wily stuff. And it's not clear why. It wasn't like they were telling fucking Citizen Kane, instead of the Wily stuff. Mega Man X6 was a mess. So 7, basically, I don't remember. All I know is there are still Mavericks. Sigma makes a surprise show up as the final boss. And then Axel shoots him down an elevator. And that's all I remember from 7.
Classic.
I will say this: Mega Man X7 looked good for its time, but it did not play well, unfortunately. It was it was kind of the Sonic Adventure of the Mega Man games, which is unfortunate.
Did you? I've asked you this about 1 billion times.
Ask away.
And I never remember. You've played the Mega Man Zero games.
I've never beaten them. I dabbled. I bought a Game Boy Advance and I messed around with Mega Man Zero because they released the collection on DS. Not a Game Boy Advance. I bought a DS. I had the special edition Legend of Zelda one because I grabbed it before it can go on shelves when I worked at GameStop. It was tight. So yeah, I played it a little bit. I thought they were cool.
How'd you feel about it?
I actually liked it a lot. I got stuck though. I didn't know where to go. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I mean, I got to do some studying up for the ASVAB while I was going to the military. And then I never touched it again. Same thing with the Phoenix Wright games. I thought they were great. I put it down. I just never picked it up again.
Those games, they were fun on the DS. I had the same collection you did. I played them on the DS, but I didn't dig it that much. Like, it didn't stick with me that much. I played them on an emulator with like an actual controller on a big screen, and it's sick. Like those games, those games are completely different if you play them, like you would in Mega Man X game or something like that, like on an actual screen with a controller and shit. Super tight, like platforming and all that shit, whatever. But I kind of liked where those guys took the Mega Man X lore and what they were doing with the gameplay too. They added kind of an RPG type thing, which I was going to say is probably what I would say they should do with a new Mega Man X game if they were to go back to it.
I agree. I would say do a Metroidvania, do something new. We really don't need another Mega Man X2, even though I love that game. We don't need 2 of those, or 3 of those, or 4 of those even. Do a Metroidvania with Mega Man X. I think that's what everyone would really enjoy.
Yeah, and it's Mega Man, so you can do fun shit like, you know, do you want to level up your Buster? Do you want to level up your jumps? Do you want to level up like your armor in different ways and do different shit like that? To me, that just kind of makes sense for where the X series was headed anyway, kind of how that shit works. But I don't know. We'll see. There is another Mega Man X collection they were talking about.
I haven't buying that actually. I think they're releasing it in 2 parts. There's the part that has I think Mega Man X 5, 6, 7, and 8, and then there's the good part. So yeah, that's,
that's what I saw. Like, if you have to buy those separately, like, man, I wonder what the sales difference is gonna be.
I think you get a discount if you buy them together. I think it's like $40 for both of them, but I don't know. I haven't looked into it much. I can Amazon that right now. Actually,
that boss battle mode sounds fun though. Like, you have to you can fight 2 bosses at once for Mega Man X. I don't remember what it was, 4 and 5 maybe, something like that. I don't know. It sounded fun though. I don't know if you could do it with the first 3. That'd be fun though.
Yeah, well, I mean, they gotta do something different. I mean, that's a start. I don't know much about it. Yeah, but if you get both of them together as a hard copy, it's only $40, so that's still not bad.
That's not that bad.
I'm good though. I'll just buy the first 3. Even though I was all pumping up 5, and I'm like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, I don't know. It is tempting to go back and replay those the 2 last ones, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, just I mean, if they're gonna make a new Mega Man X, they need to kind of Metal Gear Solid 4 that sequel, and just bring back everyone. That was always the big flaw of the series, is they kept abandoning story elements. Like, you know, they make a big deal out of the X Hunters. Dead, never see him again. They make a big deal out of Dr. Doppler, and Dr. Doppler was fucking cool. Like, that was a really good character. Gone.
I don't remember him.
Well, he was the one who basically diagnosed the Sigma virus, and he's the one who cures the virus into 3. He's kind of like the pseudo-villain, but he gets kind of... They kind of reveal that Sigma was behind everything as usual, but... I mean, just character.
Isn't he always?
Colonel, I mean, I know the Colonel's dead, but bring back the fucking Colonel.
I remember the Colonel, yeah. What the hell?
What is going on?
Keep talking. My dog is freaking out. Fucking talk about the
dog.
Oh yeah, I have a dog. I'm gonna go kill the dog. Talk about the Colonel.
The Colonel's like, I mean, he had a mustache. It was tight. It was made of gold. And this tea is really good. Oh my gosh, I love tea. But yeah, that is going to be Mega Man X. Okay, look, I'm fact searching right now. Let me see if I got my information straight. So yeah, Legacy Collection 1 includes X, X2, X3, and X4. The second one includes X5, X6, X7, X8. I don't know. If I ever get fired from my job, I may revisit X5, X6, X7, X8, but that is just not a good time investment. I mean, not in the world we live in. Not when there's a million Dark Souls games out there. Absolutely. Yeah.
Dark Souls. How did you get on Dark Souls?
Oh, I was just talking about, like, it doesn't really make sense to play Mega Man X7 when there's like a billion Souls games out there that I can play instead.
See, Mega Man X7 sounds a good amount more appealing than firing up a Souls game. Not Bloodborne. Bloodborne's different, but I don't know. The Dark Souls games don't have the same pull to me as a Mega Man X or Bloodborne.
You know, I mean, now the timing is right, because one of the benefits of playing Mega Man X after so long is not remembering where all the shit is, and that's half the fun. It's just kind of like climbing shit and then like shooting shit and then bombing shit until something breaks or you find a ledge you didn't find before, and that's where the capsule is. That's really like the spirit of Mega Man X. There's no equivalent of that in the old games. There's no feeling I get after finding a capsule that I find in Mega Man 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ever.
That's true. That was super sick. I can't... did you find capsules with Zero if you were playing a Zero in 4 and 5?
No. Well, no, you could find them, because the stages, from what I understand, were designed the same, if I remember right. But what happened is Dr. Light's like, you're not Mega Man X, and the capsule just closes.
See, that was fucked up.
I thought it was kind of cool. Well, I mean, I'm joking. What really happened is Dr. Light is like, oh, you're friends with Mega Man. Thank you for looking out for him. And that's kind of cool.
Man, playing through those games with Zero was tough. I feel like that was it wasn't just me though. I heard and saw that a lot of places. Playing through 4 and 5 and maybe 6, I don't remember. With 0 was like a harder mode than Mega Man because I mean, you know, it makes sense. 0, you have to get close to people to hit them because you have a fucking sword.
I don't know if I agree. I always played a rushdown style of Mega Man anyway. Like, I actually had to relearn how to hold the Super Nintendo controller just because I had to find a way to get my ring finger on the dash button at all times. So I honestly didn't even play the characters that differently. The only difference is I didn't have to charge anything with 0, and that made the game easier. So I actually thought 0... I thought they were both about the same, to be honest with you.
0 does... obviously, he does more damage than
a
X
lot
did,
more damage in that,
which is good. It's a good trade-off. I think that your style is less common though with X. I think X, a lot of people, you know, use that distance game, that fucking Injustice game, a little bit more and zoned out with X. Maybe a little bit more than you did.
Yeah, well, I mean, back then I didn't use passcodes. They were there, but I didn't use them. So the idea was to get to the stage as fast as you can. So if I was in a situation where I could safely dash, I was fucking dashing. I was trying to get through those bosses as fast as I could. Because I mean, the reason why I never used passcodes, it wasn't an honor thing. It's just if I played the game, I'm gonna play the whole fucking game. Like that's just the way it was. So it didn't make sense wasting time trying to just jump around throwing boomerangs. No, I did not have time for that. I only did X Buster 2 against all the bosses. I did not use special items. That was more laziness than it was like honor. I just didn't want to learn what all the weapons did. I was like, I got my X Buster. This is my boomstick. I know it works. That's why I did that.
It sounds impressive. I don't think I ever played through any of them in one sitting besides X1. I think that's the only one that I could run through. And then fucking like X-Men, Jesus. Mega Man X4, 5, and 6 had saves, so like it was easy to save, jump back in, whatever. Thanks, PlayStation. Man, that was a lot of Mega Man X talk.
Yeah, no, it was. Well, I mean, I guess that's.
No, listen. When you don't have Mortal Kombat, you're fucking. This is an off season. We don't even know what like the. There's no Injustice. There's no superheroes. There's no Mortal Kombats.
Well, here's the question.
There's no Mega Man X either. To be clear, there's none of this shit. Mega Man
X. Do you think this is good for Injustice? That's the big debate we were having in general before we started the Warrior Shrine. Do you think this is going to help Injustice?
Hell, well, I'm like, well, how does it need help though? Like,
do you think people are going to start labbing Injustice again? Do you think people are going to start traveling because they know there's no MK11?
Like, there's going to be a resurgence for Injustice 2?
I don't know if that's where I stand, but do you think? I mean, that's the hope of a lot of people. I wonder if you're in that same.
I don't think so. I mean, I think Injustice 2 has more mileage in it if people want to go back into it. Like the Ninja Turtles alone, like I think put a lot of extra miles on that game. And they were the last thing to kind of happen, and a lot of people were already kind of done with the game when they came out. If people really want to jump back in, they could. I don't think they will. I think that's kind of my stance on that issue. I wonder if putting the Turtles out last, like such a big get as far as DLC goes and guests goes, and they did them very well. I wonder if that should have been a little bit of a hint as far as like how quick they were wanting to bring out the new thing to eclipse Injustice 2. Because that was a big deal. But I mean, again, but a lot of people were assuming that Mega Man 11 was right around the corner, and people were kind of done with Injustice 2. So, you know, the Turtles were like, "Oh, this is cool. Whatever. We'll do an E3 with them. I mean, an Evo with them or whatever." But I think most people were already kind of done.
I feel that way too. There's a podcast. Slips is finally doing a podcast again, which I've been waiting for something like that for years. He's doing it with King Hippo, and I've been listening to it. It's really good. The reason why I bring this up at all is because he's hoping that we can spend a little more time with Injustice, but I feel like it's too late. And the two reasons I think it's too late is because, A, I don't think the viewership's there anymore. I could be wrong about that, but the entrants surely are lower. The entrants are way low now for Injustice. They're the least entered game at EVO. We got beaten by Blaze Blue Cross Battle, which is horrible. The game wasn't even out yet when they announced EVO.
Yeah, so, that game wasn't even out.
And it's like a fucking, like, I don't know, it's like a 3. I couldn't tell you. I don't want to speak too much on that, but I think the big problem with Injustice right now is the viewership is so weak and no one slips. I've always said the problem with the NetherRealm community is that no one wants to learn their bad matchups, and that's a sentiment. Long before I said it, Slips would always say that on KTP, and he's right. But I don't think that's the community's fault. It's not that the NetherRealm community is full of scumbags, and the Blaze Blue and Capcom communities are just awesome dudes. No, it's just we're not big enough. We're not big enough for a loyalist to really emerge. I mean, for a loyalist to come out of the woodwork, you need like thousands of players, because only like 1 out of every few hundred are going to travel with a mid-tier character. It's just statistically not as likely, and we're just not that big. So, and TYM's also kind of lost a lot of its clout. I mean, they were talking about that in the podcast as well. TYM lost a lot of pretty much all its tournament players. There's no tournament players really lurking there as often, at least not regularly anymore. So it's like the community's kind of been cut in half. And you go to TYM, and I don't recognize anyone anymore. So it's like, well, what happened to the community? And they said it was because TYM, the moderation. They listed a lot of reasons, but I think they're wrong. They're cool guys, but I think they're just wrong about this. I think the real problem is Discord sucked away all the competitive players at TYM, and the high level players just defaulted to social media, which I think was inevitable anyway. It just made more sense for them. Those guys all know each other in real life. They don't want to talk to scrubs. So I just feel like Injustice doesn't have the size to really last more than a year or two. I don't think we have the muscle to do it, and that's okay. I mean, it's no one's fault, but it would have helped if top-tier players actually learned their bad matchups and we didn't see constant counterpicking with Deadshot, Black Adam, early Aquaman. Like, that shit is such a bad look for the game. And that's fine. I mean, it's not Dragon's fault he wants to win. God bless him, but that's the reality. If you don't make your game fun to watch, you're going to shrink the community a bit. And then I'm talking a lot. What do you think, Django?
I think... I can't help but wonder if somebody at Warner Brothers or NRS kind of started to clue people like Ed and the higher ups at WB Interactive into, they've trained people so much on this pattern of a game lasting a year and a half, maybe having like the legs for that, and then dropping it, moving on to the next thing. Like, is that really a good thing from a sales point of view, from a marketing point of view, from a development point of view? Could you get more legs out of a game? Maybe. But if people are already like checking out of your game, like Injustice 2, when you're putting out like as big of a guest as I'm still thinking about the Ninja Turtles, I don't know. I kind of think that might have something to do with why there's not a Mortal Kombat 11 at E3. Well, there's not one announced right now. Because I think people had just got into the habit of de-investing in whatever's current because they were like, well, it's not going to matter anymore. There's going to be the next NRS game, and Injustice 2's not gonna, like, why would I keep labbing Injustice 2 and working on Injustice 2 and playing Injustice 2 when there's another game gonna be out that's gonna get the the EVO push, that's gonna be the main game at the upcoming tournaments. Like, it's not the best thing from a sales and development point of view, I think. I have no idea if that has anything to do with what's going on at NRS, obviously, but I don't think that's a good thing to like prime your community for. Like, you only need to get a year and change invested into any of our products. because that's all that's going to really matter for it. I don't know.
Well, it's a problem that's unique to us. No other community really has this problem.
No, they don't.
And one reason is because Arc System games, they have separate communities. Like, you know, there are a lot of Guilty Gear players who only play Guilty Gear, and there's a lot of BlazBlue, you know, players who only... I say characters already, or fuck. There's a lot of Guilty Gear players who only play Guilty Gear. There's a lot of BlazBlue players who only play BlazBlue. That is not true. Like, who are the best MKX players? Tekken Master, Sonic Fox, Perfect Legend. Who are the best Injustice players? You know, Sonic Fox, Tekken Master, you know. Did I say Perfect Legend? I meant Forever King.
Yeah,
oh my God.
Don't say Perfect Legend.
I don't know how to talk to. My brain's not working. I love Perfect Legend. But he's not one of the best MKX players or the best Injustice 2 players. So yeah, we don't have separate communities. So no one wants to lab 2 games. Again, I'm trying not to parrot slips. I'm really trying hard, but it's hard to play multiple games competitively. Sonic Fox is kind of the exception, and we share the same player base. We don't have a lot of Injustice 2 exclusive players. We don't have a lot of MK exclusive players. We share the same seats, you know, and we're just not big enough to do it. And honestly, it's also a problem with the games. I'd be lying if that was the only problem. People left MKX because people did not want to play MKX anymore. It wasn't because, like, oh, there's 2 games. Well, if I have to pick one, I might as well pick the new one. No, people were like, fuck MKX. I don't want to play. I'm glad that game's dead. Same thing with Injustice 1. I'm glad Injustice 1's gone. I was so glad to say goodbye to that game. That game, I was playing MK9 tournaments during Injustice's heyday because no one in San Antonio wanted to play Injustice 1. No one wanted to touch it. So MK9 had this awesome resurgence. But people went to Injustice 1 because MK9 was busted. So I think that's the other half of the problem. We have a small community, and the games are progressively getting better, but not better enough and not fast enough.
I mean, so what's the solution there, though? Like,
you gotta make a good game. You gotta make a good game, dude.
That's the thing. That's really weird because, you know, it's like, you know, what determines a good game? Obviously, we're not talking about sales because NRS kills it in terms of sales.
Injustice 2 is a good game, just to get that out there. And Case Slips is like actually listening to this shit, and he's like, "What the fuck? What did he imply about Injustice 2?" No, I like Injustice 2, but I mean, having good inputs fucking helps. Like, having a balanced game certainly helps. Like, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'd rather play Injustice 2 than MKX. It's just it's a game that's more. It feels better to play now. It didn't at launch. It had its problems at launch. A lot in part thanks to those inputs you were talking about. Boy. I don't even know what we were talking about there. Oh, a better game. Like, I mean, you know, it's hard to determine, like, okay, what would a better game be for this guy? Or what would make these people think it's a better game? Warner Brothers, boy, you ask them what's a better game, and they're like, dude, fuck your BlazBlues. We making all this money. Our games are the best. Like, you know, and in their perspective and their headspace, they're not wrong. They're right. They're fucking killing it as far as sales go. But, you know, I don't know, man.
Well, I mean, you have to reach outside the community for any of this to really work. And I feel like MK9 actually did that a lot more successfully than Injustice 2 did. But the thing is, like, and I won't talk about their podcast too much. I think it is a great podcast. I think Slips is hella smart, but these are a couple of things that I disagree on. They kept saying that, you know, it's like, you know, you have to stop worrying about matchups, and you have to start, you know, playing your interpretation of the character, which I agree with. But it's more than just playing the game, though. Like, you gotta get people hyped for the game. You gotta get them watching it. And people got fucking sick of Black Adam and Deadshot. People just got tired of watching that. Who cares who has the better Black Adam? People just got sick of it, you know? And this goes for double for people who don't play the game. Like, I don't play a lot of Smash, but if there's a hype set, I get into it. I know I play Injustice, and sometimes I'm just like, oh my gosh, kill me. I can't watch another fucking Black Adam player. So I don't know. The game is really balanced now, but I feel like it came too late. I feel like the meta was way too zony for too long, which people just aren't into it. I mean, people were like, "Oh, scrubs don't like zoners," and yeah, sure, maybe they're scrubs, but you need those scrubs. If you want your community to grow, you got to make people enjoy your game, and we're just too small, in my opinion. We're way too small of a community to last more than one game. I think. I don't know. That is a good question, though. We should talk about what is a good game. Like kind of establishing the measure of that, I think, is super important.
I mean, I have to imagine that's like what fucking, these successful, quote, successful fighting games do at the beginning of every development cycle, and every post-mortem they do, like, what do we, what's the next step? What didn't we do that time? Did we want to try to do this time? It's really, really difficult to quantify, but I don't know, man, like, even just from hanging around, like, the Discords and the forums, like I've done for over the course of several of these NRS games, like, there is a clear, like, Pavlovian thing where, like, people are primed and ready to disconnect from a game because they know the next one is coming up, even before the next one's announced. Just because NRS have been very regular for a while now, for a good stretch of time. I think that de-investment is not a good thing that they were doing, if I was a developer, I wouldn't want to see my people treating my game that way. Like, don't de-invest from this one just because you think the next one is on the way. You're kind of like, I don't know, that seems weird. That seems like a bad call. I think that's something that NRS and Warner Brothers had done maybe without realizing it.
Well, it's better now because they renewed E-League for Injustice, so Injustice still has money in it right now, and it will all the way through the end of 2018, so that certainly helps, but it's very clearly not enough in my opinion. Like, it doesn't look like it's reigniting the game, so I don't know. How do you get people to travel for a game? Those are the two goals. How do we get people to watch this game? How do we get people to travel for this game? And if you don't do both of those things, the game dies. And
I don't know what you do. Like I said, like, they put in the fucking Ninja Turtles at the ass end of this game, and if that's not getting people in, which, I mean, I'm sure the Ninja Turtles sold very well. I'm sure they did,
yeah.
But I mean, like, I don't even know what else they could have done. But also, just as importantly, like, it's not about, hoping people stick with Injustice 2. It's about breaking up the pattern a little bit so people, for Mortal Kombat 11 or whatever comes next, people aren't just, like, set on that year and change and then, preparing themselves to de-invest by the time a second DLC pack is announced. Like, people are so ready to jump off the game that it's already happened, and that's not a good thing.
Well, I almost feel like DLC is a problem for the online community because, like, a lot of the DLC are just fucking ridiculous. Like, they're just dumb. And that a lot of times, I feel like it kind of kicks the online community in the balls. So it's like, oh my God, I don't want to adapt to Hellboy. And that's fine. Like, I don't think we need a good online community, although it certainly helps. But just adapting to new DLC.
Are people saying that about, like, Cody and Sagat and stuff like that?
Well, those characters aren't out just yet. Cody comes out, I think, Tuesday. But they were last season. People were complaining about Minot. Well, no, I know they're complaining about Minot now. Were they complaining about Minot? I don't know. It's all kind of a blur. But Minot's certainly busted now. Minot is so fucking dumb, and that's a good example of a game that succeeded, but it's kind of standing on the shoulders of Street Fighter 4. So it kind of got a free pass, but. God, yeah, the top tier in Street Fighter 5 are really frustrating right now. They're very strong. Did I answer your question? Did I
No, I
fucking got lost in that answer somewhere.
Just how the DLC affects online players and stuff like that.
Maybe I don't. Well, a lot of the, like, no one's using Falk right now in Street Fighter 5. No one cares about that character. I imagine Blanca's probably doing well just because he's one of the best costumes in the game. People love Sakura, so Sakura, I'm sure, is getting good mileage. So I don't know. The game Injustice 2 is so good right now, but it took too long. It took too long to make the meta interesting for me again. I don't know. It's hard to grow a game when your zoners are that good. I mean, they're not. Deadshot probably was not broken. As a matter of fact, I've been complaining about Dr. Fate since day one, and no one's listened. Dr. Fate is still fucking stupid.
Dr. Fate is really stupid.
He's crazy. Bane as well. Bane, I think everyone's sleeping on Bane, in my opinion. That character's ridiculous, but...
Bane is really, really, really good, but Dr. Fate's been living in my ass since day one, so Dr. Fate can... That character's stupid.
Yeah, good damage, good trait, fantastic zoning. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, there's some, I don't want to say weaknesses, but there's some inadequacies, but who cares? When you have those first 2 or 3 things, who cares about anything else? That character is so ridiculous. So
no, I don't see Injustice 2 getting any kind of, like, you know, people going back to that one because there's not another game on the horizon. I don't see that happening. I think the effect is already there. It's already done. Whether it's because of, you know, how people feel about Injustice 2 specifically, or the fact that people were just already, you know, done with Injustice in their heart because they knew the next game was on the way, and they're not going to go back because they were already done with it. Like, or it's both. It could easily be both. No, I don't think that Injustice 2, the people are going to go back to Injustice 2. I don't think that that's an option, personally. I would like to be wrong. It's not that I hate Injustice, obviously. Injustice, I say it every time that we talk about it. Injustice 2 is like, you know...
the best NetherRealm game, by far, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, I agree with that, too. But it's also, for me, it's like fucking... Dream come trues. I got fucking Ninja Turtles, Sub-Zero, and a Robin in the same fucking fighting game? This is crazy. And it's a good fighting game with good netcode, and like, what else could a girl ask for if their name is Django? You know what I mean? Like, Injustice 2 is great. But I think people were ready for it to be done, and it's done. And also, you know, people are kind of tired of the Injustice-y shit that goes along with it. The Black Adams, the Aquamans, all the shit you were talking about, like, people had just already de-invested with the game, so it's done.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the problems I had with Injustice 1 were the wager, and that's back. And I think no one likes wager, they put up with wager. So the minute someone smells a new MK game, they're like, oh my god, Mortal Kombat. I don't have to fucking wager anymore, you know? I don't have to worry about fucking, like, crazy Deadshot. Although, Deadshot, I guess even Firestorm was nerfed.
Don't talk about Firestorm. Jesus Christ.
We'll keep this a Firestorm-free conversation, I guess. I haven't touched the game, honestly, enough to really have an opinion on anything. I think Deoxin was a Blue Beetle guy, and God bless him. I'm so glad he has some success. That's going to do wonders for the game, but... God, Scarecrow is still fucking ridiculous. They never took care of that character, and he's still so fucking dumb. Do I want to go back and play Scarecrow? Like, if I liked the game, that's the problem with Injustice. It's not that it's a bad game. It's just I enjoy Tekken and Street Fighter V so much more right now. That's the real problem here. You have to be competitive with those games, and I don't like the game enough to learn the fucking Scarecrow matchup. I'm just not that interested, so... What were we talking about? I feel like
everything, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, we were talking about everything. I don't know. I mean, there's so much good stuff on the horizon that with Soul Calibur 6, you know, coming out in October, it's hard to even think about coming back to Injustice 2. And I'm going to an Injustice 2 tournament the 30th, Saturday. By the way, I'd like to give a quick, like, anti-shout-out to the tournament organizers in San Antonio. They planned 2 tournaments on the same day. We have... River City Rushdown, you know, in the sort of like the north central area of San Antonio, and the more northern central area of San Antonio, we have I don't even know the name of the tournament. That's the one I'm going to. Both the same day, and never mind the fact that now the both tournaments are competing for competitors from the same piggy bank. On top of that, they planned that shit Evo weekend, so I have to miss all the Evo pools on weekend. All the CEO. God, I can't think today, man. They planned around CEO, is what I meant to say. Evo, okay. God. And so, yeah, do I get to watch pools on Saturday? No, I'm going to be at a fucking tournament, so...
That does sound like a odd
It's a
blow
first
up.
world problem, but yeah, I
No,
want to support my scene.
that's an
again.
easy thing to dodge, though. It seems like. I mean, if this was like 100 years ago and there wasn't Twitter and you could like see, hey, this guy's doing that. Oh, maybe I won't do that at the same time.
Yeah, so they're good people. Like I have a lot of respect for those people, even though like I haven't been to a tournament in 2 years. But
Yeah, I'm not gonna talk shit about anybody who wants to put on an actual real life tournament. Like that's, please, more people do that. But
yeah,
that
great.
does sound
Don't
kind of sucky.
plan it on CEO, one of my favorite times of the year. It's like, I don't know, man. That's like doing like a tennis tournament on fucking Christmas Day. Don't do that shit. No one wins. And don't do it the same day as another San Antonio event. Like for the Gamer Solstice, that's the one I'm going to. Like they had to book a Fast Eddie's for that tournament, so I get it. Like you had to talk to Mr. Eddie, and you got to like actually book the location. But for River City Rushdown, from what I understanding, they're just doing that at the typical cafe they normally do the tournament at. Why could you not delay that a week? I don't get it. So like the Austin guys, the McAllen guys, the Corpus Christi guys are gonna be like, which one's Betty going to? Let's go to that one.
Fucking we need to get Jabali on there to change the date, so you could do CEO, you can enjoy CEO and go to these tournaments. I think that's clearly the solution.
I think we can talk him into that. I think we can bring him on. We probably could get Jabali on the show. Like,
We probably
that probably
could.
wouldn't even be that hard.
Man, I didn't even have him on my like bucket list of guests. I should add him. He loves to talk about CEO and Jabali.
Yeah, I mean, he'd probably be funny as hell. I think it'd be a blast. So
It would be fun. You gotta get him on here. I really want to get Paolo in here. I gotta make it happen somehow.
God, I feel like I've blacklisted our podcast. I don't think we can ever get Paulo on here at this point.
We're gonna get
I've
Paolo
so
on
much
here.
shit about MKX.
It's gonna happen, and he's gonna tell us exactly what his vision is. It's gonna be amazing.
It'll be fantastic. I'm already a fan. I'm already into that. So final thing
what's
is,
next? What's up?
I was going to wrap it up with DOA 6, and I mean, there's other news events, but I feel like they're kind of dated now. So DOA 6 is the final talking point I had before if we want to go into the new stuff.
Go for it. Tell me about DOA.
Well, I've always been a fan. Like, people who know me, most of them know my favorite gaming console of all time is the Dreamcast, and that's because the Dreamcast is the first console that was kind of able to replicate the arcade experience, at least in terms of like playability and graphics. Maybe not in terms of like online or community or the competitive aspect, but because even the Dreamcast version of Marvel, the Dreamcast version of Third Strike are not arcade perfect. But back then, no one really cared about that. Because if you had a good community, that means you probably had a viable arcade. And if you didn't, you wouldn't know the difference. So I've been a fan of DOA ever since DOA 2. I did not go back to the series until DOA 4. And that was mostly because I just bought an Xbox 360 and I wanted to play a game that really took advantage of the console's power. And didn't really have any competition back then. No one else played the game, which is kind of the story of every DOA I've played. But I like the series a lot. It has a stigma, so that's kind of held it back and other things have held it back. But do you play DOA, Django?
No, but I know it has a stigma.
Do you want to say a little bit more about why you don't play DOA?
Not for any good reason. I don't know. I don't have an aversion to DOA. I think the stigma's funny, and it's probably largely warranted. But I've heard that they've decreased the size of the stigma a lot in the new one. Maybe decreased the physics of the stigma.
Yeah, I mean that was the goal last time too, and they kind of sort of went back on that. So I'm hoping they stick with it this time. And I'll go into more about that later. But I guess the point I was trying to make is a lot of people don't play DOA because they think DOA is dumb and stupid and pervy. That's kind of what I was trying.
Dumb,
I was trying to
stupid,
get you to say. So.
and pervy. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I think the game's always struggled, and for a lot of reasons. Obviously, the fan service is a big reason. Like, if I won a DOA 5 tournament, I'd be kind of embarrassed. Like, if I was like on stream in grand finals, I'd be like pulling my collar, like sweaty, and be like, "Fuck, people are gonna see this." Like,
It's like Rip winning that Pokken tournament. It's like, I mean, you know, Good for you, man.
Well, that's the good news. Is like if I was on stream for a DOA 5 tournament, no one probably would see it. So that's the one relief. But I don't know. I'd be kind of embarrassed. That's a clear reason why people kind of stay clear of the game is because they either don't want to be associated with it or they don't take it seriously. So, but I don't think that's the biggest problem because a lot of the DOA shit is in Street Fighter V as we speak for both male and female characters. So I think a bigger reason is that the game relies on holds, and holds are like a universal parry. So to really be successful in that game, you have to know strings for all the common characters, if not all the characters. If you don't want to get blown up in pools by like, a random Lei Fang or whatever, you have to know the combo strings of much of the cast. You can't just learn Ninja Gaiden and Kasumi expect to be successful. You have to learn all these string properties for characters you don't play, and I think that turns out
that sounds discouraging.
Not only does it sound discouraging, but it's a lot of work for a game that no one's playing. It's like, okay, well, I can learn all these strings, and then I could be, the DOA Arkansas champion, and who cares? That's the problem. Like,
DOA Arkansas champion. That would be hype.
Talk about somebody no one would give a fuck about, the best DOA player in Arkansas.
I'm the only DOA player in Arkansas. I won by default. That's the thing. If I'm gonna put that much time into learning, like you said, all those strings and everybody's normal shit and all that stuff, I would do it with Tekken. I can see how it would be hard for DOA to kind of compete with that if it's that discouraging to get into for that reason.
Well, that's another thing. That's another reason why you have to learn the hold system, because unlike Tekken, when you get a combo going, you just do damage. You do as much damage as you can with that launcher. In DOA, that is not necessarily the case. In DOA, you can parry while you're being hit as long as you have not been launched. So if you know the other person's string and he's comboing you, you can parry in mid combo anytime as long as you're not in the air yet. And a lot of people don't like that. They feel it's not random, but they feel like it's very rock scissors paper, which is I love the Nethercast guys, but they're just fucking wrong about this. It's not really even rock scissors paper, because if you know the string, then you know what they're going to do. You know they're going to do rock. It's not rock scissors paper if you know the sequence already. And second of all, there's more to the game than that, and you can set up launchers, There's counter hits you can launch from. So, I don't know. I feel like there is that 50-50 element like MKX, but the reason why I was blowing up MKX is because DOA lets you diversify in a way that MKX does not. So, it was kind of hard to get my points on the table because, Shadowloo was just frowning, what are you doing, dude? I like DOA, I can't help it. It's a fun game. But that's one reason why I think it had trouble growing. Another big problem is the community is kind of faceless. The two biggest players are PL and Sonic Fox's brother. That's it. No one knows DOA players.
Wow. PL? Damn.
Yeah, PL's an Evo champion for DOA, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he has a medal.
Well, he's got some medals for other games too.
Yeah, no, I mean, I am probably one of the biggest PL fans out there. I do think the guy has a lot of talent. I just feel like he's lost focus over the years, but I definitely think he does some cool shit. And DOA's, that's another reason why I think the rock, scissors, paper criticism is just not fair, because the game is so fast. If you're able to participate in that rock, scissors, paper gambit, you have to be on your toes. You have to have a lot of knowledge, and you got to be able to react like no one's fucking business, dude. I think the criticisms of that game are just so uncalled for. And you can actually slow down the strings of your the speed of your strings. If you do the string slower, or if you input the string slower, there'll be more space between hits, and that'll fuck up people's holds and parries. So I think it has a lot of depth, but we owe such a debt to Tom Brady, because when MK9 was on the horizon, when people were playing the beta, Tom Brady just rose from the soil and became the mascot for our game. Not the mascot, but maybe the mascot, but the spokesperson. All these podcasts brought Tom Brady on, and he was just this MK versus DC guy, but somehow everyone knew he was the one to talk to, and before the game was even out, our community had a voice for other communities, and DOA's never had that outside of Perfect Legend. So I don't know. In Perfect Legend, once MK and Injustice hit, I don't really think he was doing the DOA thing anymore. So the game doesn't have a face, and I think that hurt it a lot. It doesn't help that the game was never at EVO, which I think was messed up. I don't know why it wasn't at EVO 2000. I think in 2012 is when DOA 5 came out. That scene, or 2013 is when it would have been at EVO. So I want to say it came out in July, but I always thought that was messed up, dude. I always felt like the game should have had a chance. If KOF 14 has a chance, I think DOA should have had a chance. But it was a different time then. I don't think KOF 14 would have made EVO back then either. So
I mean, it sounds like the opportunity is open for TEMP to be the face of DOA.
God,
that's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing.
If that's the case, they better take out all the jiggle physics, because otherwise that's... Man, if I have to be a poster boy for any franchise, God, I hope they fix DOA for real this time. I don't want any witch costumes. I don't want to fight a nurse or any shit like that. I just want a dignified... I don't mind the characters looking like all like what they look like. I'm actually I don't care. Like I don't, if the characters are like wearing strings and shit, I don't really. I mean, as long as the characters look cool, that's my thing. Like a lot of the costumes in DOA 5 are revealing. But they look cool. Kasumi's primary looks cool. Helena looks cool. Ayane looks really cool. Like I think those are good designs. Until you put them in a cat suit and then it becomes stupid. But before that, though, I think they look really cool. So I've always thought the game was beautiful. I always thought the game looked so good. What's up?
Look, I understand. I understand. You got this very defensive thing going on with DOA.
It's hard, man. It's hard to defend a game that...
I don't judge, though. Listen. DOA is probably a super fun game. I don't know. I haven't actually, I haven't even played it enough to really have an idea of how it feels. So, if it's cool, play it. I don't... whatever.
Well, that's another reason why you get shit on, too.
It's not Smash, so it's, it's already got that going for it.
I was actually just about to say, it gets a lot of comparisons to Smash because there's only 2 attack buttons. In DOA, unlike Tekken, which has 4, Mortal Kombat 9 has 4, Marvel has 6, or at least it used to, and then it kind of turns into 4 with 2 assists. So it's not like Tekken, where if you try to mash in Tekken, you have no idea what's going to come out. You have no idea if you're going to get a string and what that string's going to do, or if that string's going to be safe. That is not really true in DOA. In DOA, because there's only a traditional punch and a traditional kick button, pretty much any sequence of button presses is going to do something crazy. So I think that's another reason why people don't respect the game as it does. It is mash friendly. But I mean, at the highest level, though, you'll get bodied if you try to do that. But
sure.
No one ever gets that far.
Yeah, fucking button count doesn't do anything as far as I'm concerned. It's like, it doesn't mean your game is good. It doesn't mean your game is bad. How many buttons it has. You could be a fucking sick-ass game with 1 button, and you could be a shitty-ass game with 6 buttons. A really shitty one. And there's some out there. That doesn't really, that doesn't really have any bearing on the quality of the game, in my opinion.
Yeah, and it's a hard game to learn, too. There is tutorial content out there, but a lot of it's very dated. A lot of it comes from 2013. The most recent stuff I found, I think Hurtbox TV has a decent one. But it's basically a guy talking for 15 minutes, so it's not the most digestible thing. And it almost raises more questions than it answers at times. But it's still a good tutorial. Emperor Cal did a whole series where he brought in Perfect Legend, he brought in Kayane. I think Kayane's awesome. I hope she does really well in the new Soul Calibur release. But a lot of it's so basic, though, and you have to watch this whole series to find out where you kind of plug in everything. And I don't know. I'm excited. Do you think the new trailer looks good? Have you seen the new trailer or not?
I did see the new trailer.
What do you think?
It didn't look bad. It didn't look bad at all to me. It didn't scream, this fucking sucks. It wasn't... It probably looked better just as far as the trailer goes than Fighting EX Layer stuff does. Which, I'm interested in playing Fighting EX Layer, but as just the trailer goes, I think the DOA trailer probably looked better.
I actually had to I was gonna buy EX Layer, but the one character I wanted to play, they put behind a $20 paywall as part of a presumed season pass, but they said if the game doesn't sell well, we're not going to release any more DLC characters. So that really makes me not want to buy your season pass. So
Yeah,
I don't know. That's a shame. Plus there's like decks that buff your character randomly. I don't know how any of it works, but that was a big turnoff for the game. So yeah,
that game has had a weird story.
Yeah, Shadowloo's going to tell me how it goes, because I'm not buying that shit anymore. But we'll see. Yeah, and to be fair to all the Hurtbox guys, the Emperor Cal dude, like, their content is good. It's just I feel like there needs to be more character-specific stuff. Like, when I want to learn a game, I don't watch an engine video. I watch a character tutorial. I think there needs to be a lot more of that. There is some of it, but like I said, it's just dated. A lot of it's really dated, so I hope it does well. I'm rooting for this. I still stand by the fact that if Sunbeam is in Soul Calibur, that is my jam. I'm going all in on Soul Calibur, and I hope you guys come with me. I think that'd be awesome. But yeah, dude. Another reason why I think it struggles is because it's just another 3D game. People are scared of 3D games. They don't want to play them for some reason, you know. And
I know I am.
A lot of the reasons are justified because it is a different world, and a lot of your 2D skill set does not translate over. So. At least not from Street Fighter. For Mortal Kombat, I feel like it's a different story. If you're good at MK9, a lot of Tekken is going to make sense to you.
I've heard that. Quite a bit, actually.
Yeah, that's actually why I think I like Tekken so much, is because I missed MK9, and Tekken 7 kind of fills that void. It's just that mid-range and that string logic, I think, is very similar to MK9. With MKX, you do anything other than a 50-50, and your turn's over. Which is, I guess, is true in a 3D game in a way, but first of all, you can stagger. Like, there's fewer duration frames, so you can do things that are non-reactable. And second of all, like, once your turn's over, like, the other person has their own sophisticated, like, offensive strategy that doesn't exist in the... It's like, oh, your 50-50 didn't work, let me try my 50-50. Oh, you backdashed, slide. You know, that's the thing. There's just not a lot of offensive options in MKX once you get in, so... Well, I forgot what I was talking about again, but yeah, it's a 3D game. People don't like learning 3D games because it's just a lot of stuff. You have to learn a lot of character properties. They're not hard, and not in my opinion. There are hard things about them, but there are hard things about every fighting game. I just feel like once you get all the knowledge in your head and you know how to apply it, it's not really that bad.
It's sounding like you're campaigning to be the face of DOA to me.
Yeah, well, I may be stuck with that title because I may be the only one who plays it. I know Shadowloo's not in that group. Razor might play it. I don't know. I think Razor seems softer in the game. There's no fucking way, like, Cyborg's going to play DOA 6. Like, there's no way. Like, I'm glad I got him to play Soul Calibur. Like, he was playing Soul Calibur 2 with me the other night. I didn't even think I'd get him to go to the Soul Calibur 2.
I heard that. That is surprising.
Yeah, and that was a lot of fun. I think that game is really interesting. And I heard this is, like, the least legacy Soul Calibur game ever. The Soul Calibur 6, everyone's basically relearning their characters, so I don't know how much this is going to help me. But at least I'm glad I got the game's logic down in terms of, like, the neutral. So yeah, that'll be interesting. When
does that game come out?
October 19th.
Man, that's sooner than I thought it was.
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm actually super relieved. Because that gives me enough time to get my classes out of the way, and it's not January when everything comes out. So yeah, that's really good news for me.
DOA, you said, was your number one E3 game?
It was, yeah.
Man.
My number 2 was Doom. My number 3 was RE Remake.
Remake looked really good.
It does, but like I feel like they're already making dumb changes that I don't agree with. I honestly, if you're gonna remake a game, don't change faces. I think that's so distracting. I mean,
you don't like Leon's face?
Leon's face is okay. It looks a little Biebery, but it's all right. It's Claire's face they fucked up. Which I feel so bad saying that because they probably got a real actress and modeled her real face. So she's probably a great person and a great actress, but like, I don't know. It's just it's distracting.
I've been saying Leon looks fucked up, but Razor didn't agree. Razor was like, his face looks fine. And I mean, it's not bad, but it's pretty bad. It doesn't look like Leon to me. Like, it looks like some other person, which is, you know, it's fine if they're doing like a Mortal Kombat 9 reboot of Resident Evil. Dude just kind of looks. weird, man. His eyes are bulgy. His fucking eyebrows are like Ed Boon. It's odd. It doesn't look like Leon to me. And it's not fucking an age thing. Everyone talks about age. It's not age.
It doesn't have that anime vibe anymore either, which I think makes it harder to kind of distinguish him, or God, I can't even think right. A lot of his Mortal Kombat 2. What am I fucking talking about? Resident Evil 2 had that anime vibe to it in a way for all the designs. So for Leon especially, I think.
They seem to do it okay with the Devil May Cry, the new Devil May Cry stuff.
Yeah.
But Leon, like, to me, Leon, he doesn't look bad. He just looks like a different person.
Not as much as Claire. Claire, like, literally looks like a different person.
I don't even remember seeing Claire from the new RE.
Yeah, I'll get you a photo 1 second, but...
I mean, it's probably not going to help that much because I don't remember what she looked like that much in RE2.
Really? Oh,
I mean, everyone back then looked like fucking Minecraft characters.
All right, well, I'll give you a contrast to compare.
Like with Leon, I'm thinking, RE4 and his thing he did in RE6 and stuff like that. Like, that was Leon.
Yeah. I mean, 4 did a lot of favors for Leon for sure. That kind of made him, I think, even more so than Chris Redfield, like the protagonist of Resident Evil, like the official face of Resident Evil. So. Okay, I found this shit. It took actually a lot longer than I thought. So here is what Claire Redfield used to look like. And no, that's not what she used to look like. This is what she looks like now. This is current, modern Claire Redfield.
Where are you putting this?
Discord is hard. What's up?
Where are you dropping this? Where am I looking?
I'll just private message it to you. Ew. So that is modern Claire Redfield.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I had not seen her in the remake.
And in case you forgot, this is classic. I mean, night and day. Like, they're just different people.
What game was that from, though? That wasn't from RE2.
I don't know. That's from Resident Evil Google. So, I can't give you a direct answer, but...
Okay, that's cool.
If I had to guess, that was probably from a flashback scene from that shitty Resident Evil movie. The CGI one.
Ew.
If I had to guess, that's probably where that comes from.
Well, I mean, but like, that's what you think of when you think Claire?
On the bottom, yeah. The bottom photo, for sure.
Well, I mean, but that's what I'm saying. Like, if it's from some, like, weird movie or something, like, why is that Claire?
Well, because it looks like the RE2 version. I mean, if you compare them, they're very similar.
I mean, I'm thinking about the RE2 version, I think, and it looks like hella, like, Minecraft. Like, it's very low poly, obviously.
Okay, well, this is actually, like, from the game's, like, promotional CGI work. Like, this is actually... Like, that is what... I mean, honestly, like, the resemblance is very clear from that CGI photo to the original PlayStation 1 footage. Like, this first pic from Remake, I don't know who that is.
I mean, but, like, that dude, that Leon doesn't look like RE4 Leon either.
I think it's close enough. Like, I'm somewhere between you and Razor on that. I see what you mean, but I still... When I saw him, I knew it was Leon. Like, if this chick was wearing a blue vest instead of... Or a blue jacket instead of, like, a red jacket, I would have no idea who the fuck this is. No clue.
Man, I mean... The color is the thing that, yeah, is... gluing those together for me. But I mean, it's the same with fucking Leon. Like, I would never in a billion years say, like, that guy is the guy from RE4.
Well, I guess if that's the case, then I guess my solution would be to fix Leon. Don't change Claire too. Like, that would be my actual solution then. If Leon looks too different, I'd rather have a game where both of them were closer to their original models than have Claire, like, have a completely different face and have Leon be halfway there or something. Like, that's how I feel about it. If you're going to remake something, don't arbitrarily change stuff. And that's the thing, it might not be arbitrary. Like, if this is what the actress looked like who did the voice or the motion capture work, all right, fine. Maybe it was cheaper to scan her face, but God, I just... I don't know why you can't motion capture someone and make them look like a character. I feel like those are doable things in the modern industry. I don't know. It's really distracting though. And I like Claire Redfield. So when someone looks completely different, I don't know. It's like you're hanging out with your brother and he goes to get nachos and comes back and he's a different dude. It's like, what the fuck happened? Who are you?
I mean, that kind of happened with her though, because Chris never looks the same. That dude fucking is a different human in like a billion Resident Evil games.
Yeah, dude.
If they didn't say that was him in Resident Evil 7, I still wouldn't know that was Chris.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's had like a million faces. Like, he started out all looking like Dawson Creek, all like young and shit, and then slowly he turned into Thomas Jane. So until that finally kind of fizzled out in Resident Evil 7. So I don't know. Like, it's a good thing I don't really care much. I think Chris Redfield is kind of boring. I'm not a big fan of that character. I mean,
yeah, he's hella boring. He's hella boring.
Let me rephrase that. I like the character because he's boring. I like the Boy Scout. But I don't know. Like, he'll never be my favorite character, but I actually do like Chris Redfield more than I let on.
I mean, I don't dislike.
Punching is great. What's that?
I don't dislike Chris Redfield, but I mean, like, that doesn't mean that he's not kind of boring. He is kind of boring, but I mean, that's kind of like his archetype. He is that Boy Scout type, so it works for him, I suppose.
I feel like every Resident Evil character is only interesting dependent on who they're around. Like, I really am only down with Jill when she's chilling with Carlos. Other than that, I think Jill's kind of boring. I only think Claire's cool when she's hanging out with Leon. Leon, I think, is only cool when he's hanging out with
Ada.
Yeah, that's when Leon's really a lot of fun. Which is all the time. He's never not hanging out with Ada, so that makes his life a lot easier. That's why everyone loves him. He hangs out with Ada. Is that a show? Are we done?
I
could talk about Resident Evil 2. Resident Evil 2 is like one of my favorite games of all time. I could talk forever about this.
When does that game come out?
I believe January.
Another January game.
Yeah, I think that's also. They said early 2019 for DOA, so I imagine that's going to be February. But yeah,
they said the same thing about Sekiro, whatever that game is called. Shadows Die Twice.
Man, I don't care about any of those samurai games,
dude. Easily, Sekiro was my number one E3 game. Like, not even remotely. Which is funny because I had been joking around, and other people have too, like, fucking since I watched streams about Souls games and whatnot, like, you know, fucking Tenchu Souls would be sick, because I loved Tenchu back in the day. Big Tenchu fan. And so the fact that there is kind of a Tenchu Souls game coming down the pike is really weird and surreal. And hearing them talk about, like, yeah, we were going to do a Tenchu game, but then we were like, we don't really want to do Tenchu stuff, so we decided to make it a new IP instead. Like, that was, yeah, cool. That sounds good. I'm in. I'm really looking forward to Shadows Die Twice, whatever that game is called. I can't say what it's called. I always forget, but that game, I can't say what my number one E3 game is called.
Is it not called Shadows Die Twice?
Yeah, it is. It's Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. I think that's like the whole name of the game.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know there was another name. I thought it was just called Shadows Die Twice. I mean, that shows how like I said, man, I'm not really a big samurai guy, which is ironic because I'm like banking hard on Soul Calibur 6, but
I mean, you know, I'm playing a samurai game right now on the
you
channel.
You're literally Onimusha it. So yeah.
Onimusha, to me, especially that first game, I've said it before, and I still kind of feel that way. I would have liked a 3D Symphony of the Night to have been similar to that Onimusha game that I'm playing. Just something about the way that, like, navigating through that game feels and how focused it is. As far as, like, you know, you're going up the castle and you're right around the castle, and it's very contained and it feels very video gamey, but it's mixed in with the combat that is really, really good. I really would have liked that for a 3D, like, Alucard Castlevania type game. And then Bloodborne happened, and Bloodborne is Castlevania. Like, everything in that game came from a Castlevania game. They just did it well in 3D. But anytime I'm playing Bloodborne, I'm playing a Castlevania game in my brain.
That makes a lot of sense because, yeah, you were definitely. I mean, you were all over Bloodborne in a very short period of time, and I couldn't believe how well and how fast you took to that game. Like, you beat it like multiple times already, I think, and it took me like a year to beat it once just because I kept putting the game back down. So I don't know.
Yeah, like, something about that game is really like sucked me in. The gameplay was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I was already into like the the aesthetic or whatever. They already kind of had me on that, but that wasn't going to be enough to like really pull me in there. But the combat I liked a lot more than I expected to, having played like Dark Souls games before, and not that much. I don't love playing Dark Souls games. Bloodborne was better though to me. I think Bloodborne's combat is much more satisfying and much more fun than Souls games, and I'm hoping Sekiro continues down that route. I'm also super hyped for Ghost of Tsushima, as I keep calling it.
Yeah, Ghost of Tsunami.
Yes, that game. That game also
I
looks
don't
really
actually
sick.
know what it's called, but I just call it something different every time I say the name. So
I always forget what it's actually called. So it's Tsushima. I think it's Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah,
and Tsushima, I can remember that, so I say that. That game actually looks more like an Onimusha or a Tenchu traditionally to me, especially the way that stealth was in that gameplay demo they showed. Like, that felt a lot like Tenchu to me, or reminded me a lot of Tenchu. And that game looks sick. Looks good. Looks really good. I'm hyped for both of those games. They were probably my 1 and 2 for E3, actually. There are a lot of samurai games.
And Neo 2 as well.
Neo hasn't pulled me in as much. I don't know. Something about Neo, I don't know, doesn't grab me for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't play any of that stuff. I want to play Dark Souls 1 just because I have the game and it was a gift and I don't want to waste that. So
the remaster?
No, the original. I will not play the remaster until I play the original.
Well, that's fair.
Yeah, I feel like if I play the original, I can enjoy the remaster. If I play the remaster, the original is just jacked.
You're right. Yeah,
just
that's
20
true.
frames of bullshit. I don't want to do that. So
that's true. Ooh, frame rate.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
It is a
but
big deal.
I want that experience, though. I want to be able to compare properly.
No, then you're definitely doing it right. Man, I'm hyped for Sekiro though. That game, I like it, and I like the new IP thing. I like all of that shit. It sounds good, feels good.
Well, it sounds like that was kind of the saving grace of all this. Is we have so much to look forward to, and a lot of it's really good. Whatever your poison may be, whether it's Sushi Mom or whether it's Dead or Alive 6, MK11, there's that space has been filled, even if we don't have a new MK game on the horizon anytime soon. So that helps me a lot, and that's why I'm not super butthurt about the whole MK11 thing. I am tired of talking about it, though. I'm pretty sick of talking about a game that doesn't exist yet, or at least has not been revealed yet. Hypothetical games are just not fun topics for me. I just get exhausted, so...
Well, not after this long. Like, we've all been... Like I was talking about before, we've all been checked out for a while now. Like, it's one of the best things about Combat Pack 2, or Fighter Pack 2, or whatever for Injustice 2 ending was like... That just meant that we were that much closer to Mortal Kombat 11. Like, that was like the end of Injustice 2 pretty much, and Mortal Kombat 11 was going to be right around the corner. That's what that meant. And we got parried. So... Yeah,
we got mixed up hard. One last fucking 50-50 before the MKX era ended. So
that's exactly what... And that's the only part that's kind of whatever to me. Like, I'm not bummed. I'm not super bummed about it. I'll be happy when they decide to talk about it, but the biggest thing right now is just standing back up from the trip, from the fucking 50-50 shit.
Yeah, I agree. So I hope when they do reveal it, it's good. I mean, there's still this giant elephant in the room with, well, what are we going to do with the show now? Because I know Razor and Shadow will probably disagree with me on this, but I don't really want to open questions back up. At least not for MK11. Like, I don't want to answer any questions about MK11. There's nothing to talk about. We've said everything. Until they reveal something, I don't think there's any point in reopening that gate. Now, if they want to ask about the lore, yeah, absolutely. I mean, those questions are always going to be there. They're not always going to be valid. But, like, if you're going to ask me if you think Motaro's legs will be in MK11, I just don't know what to say anymore. I don't know what else to tell you guys.
Fuck no. That's the only answer to that question.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm kind of the Warrior Shrine. I'm kind of torn on because I want to reopen questions because I still think there's a lot of good gameplay questions. But again, I don't want to get 50-50. We reopen questions. We have a bunch of questions about Fujin, and then they reveal the trailer, and there's like 15 Fujins there, and it's like, what do we do with all these questions? Like that's what I don't want to do. That's the problem I don't want to run into. So, yeah, it's tough. But I don't know. Do you want to reopen questions? I feel like we have to at this point. I feel like if we're going to keep going, it doesn't make sense not to, right?
I don't know. It's difficult.
It's tough. I have no idea.
It's part of the weird. It's part of the 50-50. It's part of the fucking mix-up everyone's trying to stand up from. We're in the off season now, but we can absolutely talk about fucking more shit than probably like the Nethercast can, because we can talk about DOA, we can talk about Tekken. We do talk about Tekken. We talk about all these games anyway. Fucking Street Fighter. We talked about Marvel vs. Capcom for a little bit. Like, whatever. And if there are questions about that stuff, then yeah.
Yeah, our rule has always been the same. You can ask anything you want. We don't limit ourselves to Mortal Kombat. I mean, if you ask something stupid, we reserve the right not to answer it. But usually we will, as long as you're like...
You're too nice to not answer a question. Come on, man.
I mean, if your question is, why is TEMP fuck? Then, yeah, I'm not going to answer that question. Or maybe I will answer. I don't know. Like, I don't know.
Thank you for the question, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Moving on. Thanks, Evan. Evan. Oh, that reminds me, audience. We were going to have Evan back for this episode to talk about MK11.
Oh, fuck. We did have that on the thing, didn't we?
Yeah, well, we wanted to have him... the idea was to bring him on mid-June because... We could talk about the new game. The idea was to bring him on. We try to bring him on like once or twice a year, but it usually ends up being once a year, just because that's the way sort of the book unfolds. But there's no MK11 to talk about, so I'm wondering, do we bring these guests on now and then bring them on twice when MK11's revealed? My only reservation on that is how many Warrior Shrines do we plan on doing? How many will we have time for? If I'm back in class, we can't really just sit down and do a Warrior Shrine because there's a schedule alignment that needs to happen. And when you have that between 3 people instead of 2, it becomes that much harder. So I don't want to waste my bullets. I want to make sure that there's good content out there to discuss. And, like for Evan, Down 4, even Cyborg, I want to really make those episodes count. And right now there's no MK11, so it's tough. It's really tough. But he will be back on. There's no question of that.
Does he plays Tekken? Does he play Tekken? He plays Tekken, doesn't he?
I know he used to play Tekken. I don't know if he's knee deep in Tekken 7, but I would love to talk to him about it regardless. And I don't know. I think out of Street Fighter 5 and Tekken 7, I think you would like Tekken 7 a lot more. And I'd be interested to see what you do with that game, with that Akuma, whichever you decide to.
Me?
Either way, you're playing Akuma, no matter which one you buy. So
yeah, that's true.
I would say if you're going that route, I would recommend Tekken 7 just because it looks better. I think it's a better game.
You're probably right.
And that gives us, Warrior Shrine ammunition, and yeah.
But man, Sagat's looking cool too, though. Sagat just looks cool in Street Fighter 5. I like the way they redesigned Sagat visually. He's not out yet. Yeah, I know, but he looks cool.
He does look really good. I agree with that.
So I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
If you play Street Fighter 5, that's awesome. Like we have I'm glad you brought that up. This is probably a good thing to talk about. We have a huge Street Fighter 5 community in this Discord now, and I could not be happier. We have Randy Cool, we have Benevolent, we got me and Don 4. Shad and me were playing Anniversary Edition earlier, so I feel like I'm leaving.
That's true too. I forgot all about Anniversary. Third Strike is still an option.
Well, I was playing Alpha with Shadowloo, and that was fun. That was great. So yeah, we have a fantastic Street Fighter community going. If you play Street Fighter, then we will have one hell of a lineup because we don't really have an Akuma player yet, not in our circle. So.
Oh, I'm sure that everyone always is looking for an Akuma player.
Well, believe it or not, I mean, it'd be nice if we had a Shoto. Like, I mean, the only Shoto we have is a Benevolent Sons of Ryu, and he only plays him like once every 5 matches. So
that's just pitiful. Come on, man! It's Street Fighter. Don't play a Shoto. God damn it!
I mean, for me, like, I want to do Ibuki resets, you know, and Redman wants to wear Yuri and banana hammocks, you know, and Benevolent Sun plays like half the cast.
What are you gonna do with that?
Randy once, but he has a pretty good Vegas. So yeah, dude, it's no one wants to throw Hadoukens right now.
No one wants to play Street Fighter. That's what I'm hearing. Like, everyone wants to play fucking weird shit.
The weird shit's still pretty traditional, at least as long as you're avoiding the Manas and the Abigails and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Man, maybe I fucking should.
Yeah, pick your poison, dude. There's no wrong answer, but you gotta pick. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, we're no MK11, so we gotta fill the bubble, dude.
Yeah, there's nothing else, and like, I'm still forgetting I have a PlayStation 4 now, which is weird.
Yeah, that's probably my biggest reservation about you getting Tekken is because, you know, Don 4 has it for Xbox, but the other guys have it for PS4. So it's going to be hard to form a Discord around that. I have it for both now, but it just... Well, even if everyone has the same fucking console, it doesn't matter because loading time between matches is like 25 minutes. So if we have 5 people in a lobby for Tekken, you're going to play like twice an hour. It's going to be ridiculous. Like... So yeah, you have to wait 2 years to play again if you lose, and
you're not selling Tekken very well right now.
Well, I just don't want to lie to you. So I think Tekken's the better game, but it's going to be hard getting a Discord to form a lobby around it when the online.
I think Tekken's probably the better game too.
That delayed. What's up?
I think Tekken probably is the better game too, but I'm probably gonna go with Street Fighter if I get one of the two.
And I mean, Street Fighter would be cheaper, dude. Like, you'd save money going Street Fighter probably.
It just keeps getting better and better, man. I'm gonna get my fucking ass kicked.
Fight money, bro.
Oh man, fight money. It's just the fucking parry keeps having effects with Mortal Kombat 11. Just keeps having these negative fallouts that are fucking much. Evan is fucked from coming on the show. I'm gonna have to play a different video game. It's just, I don't think that Ed thought this through. Whenever he was like, let's push it, fucking, I don't think he was thinking about Evan's well-being.
I think he rarely does, unfortunately.
That's fucked up.
But, you know, with all the region stuff out of the way, I think we can now play Evan. So, like, that would probably one benefit of game Tekken, because I don't think he's going to play Street Fighter 5. At least to my knowledge, he doesn't play that game. So, Armand as well. I don't think Armand's on the Discord, but he's been supporting the Nethercast for a long time, so... yeah, we definitely want to get him in those matches as well. He was a good Guile player. So, yeah, you can't go wrong no matter what you pick, Jingo. Like, we will do sets, you know, but there's going to be pros and cons. You'll get a better game with Tekken. You'll get more matches with Street Fighter. And more players, too, so... And if you don't buy either, you know, I mean, if you just do, you know, just, I don't know, whatever it is you play, Bloodborne Internationals, just... Yeah, Soul Calibur 6 in October, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, Soul Calibur is going to be cool. And
Jodan, yes. Jodan's part of our Tekken crowd as well.
Yeah, Jodan too.
And he plays Noctis. I'm just trying real hard not to leave anyone out, because he bodied me last time I played him.
Noctis.
So I'm waiting for my run back, Jodan.
Come on,
72.
Man. No.
No, it's just pretty... It doesn't get more anime than Noctis, so...
Fucking Noctis. I'm gonna pick up one of those. Which one is a cliffhanger? You'll have to tune in to the next episode to find out. I'm gonna buy either Tekken or Street Fighter 5. I don't know which one.
Okay. I'm excited. I look forward to it.
And maybe by the next Warrior Shrine, I'll have one of them, and I can talk about it, about how much it's not Mortal Kombat.
Let me know before you drive all the way to Arkansas Electronics Depot to buy your copy, so you know which console to get it for, because that's an important deciding factor which one you get. So,
well, if I get Street Fighter 5, I'm gonna probably get it for PlayStation.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But if you get Tekken, I would say find out where everyone's at, because it may make more sense to get the PS4 version. Or I don't know. I'm on Xbox mostly for Tekken, but I have both.
Yeah. If I get Tekken, that'll be weird since I have both. I'll have to see who's cooler on which one.
Well, even if Down 4 doesn't have a PlayStation 4 version, let's say you want to play Down 4. Let's say you have to play King, so you want to play Down 4 on Xbox. There's no guarantee that he'll have an active Xbox Live at that time, because I think he's mostly on PlayStation now, so he doesn't have both subscriptions concurrently. So I think he puts most of his energy on PSN. So it may be a lose-lose. So just
I see. So what you're saying is fuck Down 4. Down 4 is not a factor.
Either way, sets. Whenever you buy, I will buy 2 copies. I'll make sure to be there at 7 p.m. We'll play. It'll be great.
That sounds fucking adorable and fantastic. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
And we'll have stuff to talk about for the Warrior Shrine, which is most important.
You also have the best salt too, man. Django salt is such.
What does that mean? What are you talking about?
Dude, you have this. It's this rare delicacy salt that is just amazing. You will never live down the fucking ghost face from MK9. That is gonna be part of your legacy forever, and it's the best. I love Django salt. Your salt isn't the rarest. I don't want to name drop, but there's some Saltron players in the Discord, and it's just the greatest. But I don't want to blow anyone up. But it's so rare.
I just wanted to learn about what the Ghostface guy was doing. It wasn't about the run back. It was just he had some crazy reptile tech.
You got all dog the bounty hunter about that shit though, and you were bear spraying like crazy. It was just the most. And
I never found him. That was the salt. He had some secret shit, and I wanted to know, and he was not sharing. Man, fucking that was secret Discord tech before there was secret Discord tech, and he wasn't sharing. God damn, I forgot all about. Thanks for fucking bringing that up and triggering me.
You got some other good salt too. I mean, the Injustice demo salt was also priceless. I love that.
That was the best. That one felt good.
Shit.
That one felt good when I did it. Win quitting is the best.
Yeah, angry winning is your salt has a rare aroma to it that I think is pleasant to everyone. I think your salt is very enjoyable.
I think you're a special person.
I'm trying to find words. It's late.
It's man, fucking Supergirl sucks. Forgot about that too. But that was you're right. No,
man,
that was bad. They were still figuring out the net code and.
We were talking to Brusk earlier, me and Down 4 and Leon, and Brusk at E3 saw Eris, but he didn't say anything. I don't think. So we were telling him you should have gone up to Eris and apologized for your Supergirl back on stream. And I think he forgot that was even a thing. I think that he forgot that he played Eris on the Avoiding the Puddle channel.
He played Eris on the channel?
He did, yeah. If you watch some of the YouTube videos for Injustice when Eris was playing, he's playing Brusk.
Wow.
Yeah, it's Deadshot v Supergirl. I think Brusk won.
Well, that's not surprising.
Yeah, Brusk knows what he's doing. He's a smart guy.
Brusk was another fucker that got me salty too.
Yeah,
he's fucking day one predator. He's teabagging my ass, and now that I know it's fucking Brusk, he was probably 12 years old when that happened. I mean, how do you feel getting teabagged by 12-year-olds? Come on, man. Fuck all these Discord motherfuckers. They're all.
It just reiterates our point where no matter what MK11 is or whether it exists or not, there's good fighting games out there, guys. So pick your poison and enjoy.
And listen, you guys tell us something. I don't know what, but tell us something about maybe what we could talk about in future episodes since we're still on off season.
Yeah, it sounds like we're opening up questions again. So
I mean, I'm asking for suggestions.
Yeah,
question maybe don't end it with a question mark. Hey, maybe you guys should talk about this, and then we can think about it off the air and make fun of you.
Tell us what you like about the show and what you want to hear more of. I think that would be really helpful, guys. So, leave comments, and if you're bored, like and subscribe.
Yeah.
Well, actually, it actually helps us a lot. So if you can like and subscribe, that'd be awesome. But I don't know.
Let's try to get this video up to 1,000 likes by the end.
Yeah,
Okay.
if we get to 1,000 likes, we'll talk about Motaro's legs.
We already did. He doesn't have any.
People will talk about Motaro's stub if we get to 1,000 likes. So,
Temp, well, was there anything else that you want to talk about?
no, that's all I got. That's all I can remember. I mean, there's other news stories, but like they're hella old now. We don't need to talk about Arturo blowing up streams and stuff like that. There's no need to talk about that anymore.
Arturo's the best.
Indeed.
All right, yeah, fucking help us out. We're all dead after Mortal Kombat 11 isn't real. This fucking, I don't even know. I'm about to find like a weird intro song for this one, because I'm the only one that cares.
That's not true.
The intro for the Injustice stuff had like superhero-y shit going on, and then for Mortal Kombat, I switched it up and did the normal-ish kind of one. They don't have a theme anymore. There's not a video game that there's a theme for the season. We're in the off season. Maybe this just won't be an intro song. It'll make that one guy happy.
Everyone wins.
Man, that game has some fucking fantastic music. If you want some cool ass video game music that makes you want to fucking destroy evil, the first Onimusha game has a fantastic soundtrack. It's amazing. I don't know why I'm plugging that shit. I don't see any money off that.
Well, maybe you wanted to come back. This is a good start. I mean, get more people saying Onimusha is awesome.
Dude, I've been crying out for Seminosuke in anything forever, and no one is biting. So Capcom is clearly very interested. Now listen, if they're going to do something, make a Mega Man X game.
Yeah, I agree with that. Bring back Dr. Doppler. Bring back the Colonel.
The Colonel was very tall.
By the way, I fucked up earlier. The Colonel did not have a mustache. The General had a mustache. He had a gold mustache. So
I was thinking about the General. That. Who's the Colonel?
The Colonel, yeah, we both made the same mistake. Yeah, the Colonel is Iris's brother.
Wow.
I know, right, Iris? That brings back memories for me.
I remember Iris.
That's who Zero was fighting for.
I mean, for those games, man, he fought for a lot of people, and then he got woke up for the Mega Man Zero series, and he was fighting for a brand new blonde chick. I'm seeing a pattern there. I'm gonna go think about Mega Man Zero and go to sleep. I'm really happy that we did this.
Yeah, this is fun. I'm glad the mic is working.
Temp sounds great. I sound not like a possessed evil doll anymore.
Oh my god, I don't know if that's gonna make it past editing, but that was crazy.
It didn't record. Like, no one's gonna be able to hear that except for you.
Oh man, it's a shame.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Take care, guys.
Bye.
No.